So the Selby is a character from a book called The Third Policeman. He also features in the Dalkey Archives, but really I'm kind of referencing The Third Policeman here. And those familiar with that book will kind of know why it's appropriate. That The Third Policeman is kind of an Alice in Wonderland, that a man who sort of finds his way on a bit of a journey himself and sort of is trying to make sense of this very strange and weird, wonderful experience. I won't say wonderful, it's kind of terrifying for him. De Selby is this philosopher, this kind of scholar who's kind of part genius, part lunatic. He sees the world through a very, very dream-like logic. As a way to open the album, it's a song that just reflects upon darkness and the falling of night, let's say, and viewing that as something that's very freeing, in which all things are lost in that darkness. And that's kind of aligned with the thinking of De Selby, who, let's say, you kind of, if I can't see where my hand begins and the darkness ends, they then become literally one and the same. So that's the kind of mindset that he would have. So it just seemed appropriate to sort of explore that theme of darkness as something that's very freeing, in which you're freed of all things. And the predicament of that is that when your mind is empty, it resists that a great deal. It's sort of a playful little reflection on creation, I suppose, and that's a state in that God found intolerable and had to create the world. I suppose it's kind of a fun little De Selby sort of forgiving God for that. It sort of, there's a moment it transitions. There's a section in Irish, in Gaelic, where it sort of expands upon that thought in the direction of a love song. Fuilis Surna Circa, Octagus Nos Naiha, Trí na Céile, Le Céile, Cléacla. It's kind of, although you're bright and light, you are, you arrive to me like nightfall. You come like nightfall. You and I sort of mixed up together. You and I metamorphosized. So that same idea of where you can't see where one begins and one ends, that is an actual metamorphosis of some kind. And then we move into De Selby Part 2, which it expands on that lyrically, but only in English, I suppose, back in a very different style. Your heart has such darkness, I feel it in the corners of the room. So again, it's like we're sort of lost together in this moment of veiled in darkness, and all of us are everything. There is no beginning and there is no end, and it just sort of explores that as, albeit in a kind of a sort of funky disco track. So it was fun. It was like it was trying to somehow keep it very, very intimate, but then it's also just like a fun little like number, which was really fun to write. I kind of had that riff and brought it to Jeff Giddy, and then we did some work with Dan Tenenbaum and Bacon and so it became something. That song lived many lives, but I'm happy with it.